The above is the comparison of GTX 1050 Ti versus the GTX 970. Here you can clearly see that the GTX 1050 Ti is much slower than the GTX 970. Why I am showing you guys this fucking benchmark? Because the reason is right in front of you. The Plague Steel system requirements are finally out and they are recommending a 4GB VRAM GPU, which is a GTX 970 as a minimum system requirement. Hell, if this thing becomes the minimum system requirement, then RIP for GTX 1050 Ti users. Because GTX 1050 Ti is certainly and significantly slower than GTX 970. And the 16GB VRAM is, 16GB RAM is a 16GB RAM. It's much of a thing, guys. Most of the people are just not having 16GB RAM, still they are rocking a GTX 1050 with a 8GB single channel memory or a 8GB dual channel memory. Nowadays for these AAA titles, 16GB RAM is enough. Yes, certainly it is enough. It's more than enough for people who just cannot afford. So anyways, if you want to play this game, just upgrade to 8+8 dual channel 16GB RAM and you will be good to go. And if you have a GTX 1050 Ti, you still might not need to worry, because you might be able to play the game at 1080p low 30 fps. Yes, they are recommending these settings for a GTX 970, but we cannot say how the game turns out to be, whether it turns out to be optimized enough, whether it turns out to be unoptimized enough for 1050 Ti to handle it. Well, doesn't matter, we can lower the resolution down to GTX for GTX users, GTX 1050 users or GTX 960 users. We can lower the resolution down to 720p and then probably we can enjoy the game at 60 fps. But these are the system requirements. RTX 3070 is recommended if you want to play the game at 1080p ultra high settings. Yes, the system requirements for this game at least are on the heavier side. They are recommending you GTX 970, which is certainly powerful than a 1050 Ti as a minimum system requirement. So we can consider this game as a major AAA title because of the system requirements, and not many games these days recommend 16GB RAM as minimum, but this game recommends it. This game also recommends Intel 8th generation CPU as a recommended system requirement. So what do you guys think? Is your PC ready? I think my PC is ready enough because I have 16GB of RAM in dual channel. I have a i5 9300H CPU paired with a GTX 1650 with 1024 CUDA cores. So I think my PC is ready enough. But what about your PC? Let me know in the comment section. I will be seeing you in my very next video.